Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly loved yourself? Not just tolerated, not just accepted, but loved fully, deeply, unconditionally. We spend so much of our lives chasing love, validation, and belonging in the outside world, but forget the one place it truly begins within. Today is not about fixing yourself. It's about coming home to yourself, because the truth is, you were never broken. You were never too much. You were always enough. Wherever you are in the world, just pause for a moment and take a deep breath. Now I want to ask you something. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and truly saw yourself? Not just your reflection, not your flaws, not your past mistakes, not your fears, but your soul, your strength, your light. Today I want to talk about something so simple yet so rare. Something so necessary, yet often pushed to the very bottom of our list. Loving yourself. Not because you're perfect. None of us are. Not because you've checked every box society told you to, but because you're worthy right now as you are. See, life has a way of making us believe that we're not enough, that we have to earn love by being more, doing more, proving ourselves to people who barely know our story. We search for validation in achievements, in relationships, and attention, all the while neglecting the one relationship that truly defines every other, the relationship with ourselves. But I want to remind you, you were born enough. Before the world told you who to be, you already were. Loving yourself is not ego. It's not arrogance. It's not selfish. It's the foundation of every good thing you want to experience in life. Because when you truly love yourself, you stop begging for crumbs and start setting a table worthy of your greatness. You speak differently. You walk differently. You attract differently. You stop chasing people who were never meant to stay. And you start attracting those who see the real you and celebrate it. But let's be honest, loving yourself isn't always easy. There are wounds. There are old stories that play like broken records in your mind. You're not good enough, or you'll never be loved for who you are. You have to hustle for your worth. But here's the truth. You can rewrite those stories. Every day, you have the power to speak to yourself with kindness, to forgive yourself for what you didn't know then, to choose peace over perfection, growth over guilt, love over fear. And no matter what the world tries to tell you, your value does not decrease because someone else couldn't see it. Your light doesn't dim because someone walked away. And your worth is not measured in likes, titles, or trophies. Your worth is in your breath, your being, your beautiful, imperfect, resilient self. So today, start small if you must. Look in the mirror and say, I love you, and mean it, even if your voice shakes, especially if it shakes. Because that moment, that whisper of truth, that's the beginning of everything. The beginning of healing, the beginning of joy, the beginning of freedom. And remember this, you were never meant to shrink to fit into someone else's version of who you should be. You were born to rise, to shine, to take up space. So love yourself fiercely, boldly, unapologetically. The world will adjust. Let me tell you something that could change the way you see yourself. You don't have to earn your worth. Not through your job, not through your appearance, not through someone else's approval. You were born worthy, born whole, born enough. But somewhere along the way, the world tried to convince you otherwise. Maybe it was the voice of a parent who didn't know how to love themselves, so they couldn't show you how. Maybe it was the silence of someone who should have fought for you, but didn't. Or maybe it was that moment, years ago, when you were told you had to be more to be loved. And you started believing that you were a project to fix, instead of a person to love. But hear this, you were never broken. There is nothing missing in you. You don't need to hustle for your worth. You don't need to hide your truth to be accepted. You are not a burden. You are not a too much or a not enough. You are exactly who you're meant to be in this moment. The truth is, self-love doesn't begin when everything is perfect. It begins when you decide to stop waiting for permission to love yourself and give it freely, right here, right now. So the next time you look in the mirror, don't just look for flaws to fix. Look for the miracle that is you. You are already enough, and that is your power. There is one person you will always wake up with, one voice you hear the most, one soul you carry through every chapter of your life, your own. So let me ask you, what kind of relationship are you building with yourself? Because it is the foundation of everything else. If you speak to yourself with criticism, your confidence crumbles. If you constantly judge yourself, joy feels unsafe. If you abandon yourself to please others, your spirit begins to fade. But when you begin treating yourself with gentleness, grace, and truth, something beautiful happens. You start rising. You begin making choices from wholeness, not desperation. You stop begging for love and start choosing it from within. And suddenly, your world reflects that love. You draw in people who honor your boundaries. You chase dreams not to prove yourself, but to express your soul. You show up in rooms not needing to be accepted, but knowing that you belong. The most sacred commitment you'll ever make is the one you make to you. So speak kindly. Hold yourself tenderly. Forgive yourself fully, because the way you love yourself sets the standard for everything else. Every one of us carries a story. Some of it is truth, but a lot of it is noise. I'm not smart enough. I don't deserve real love. I always mess things up. I'm too much or not enough. And these stories, they didn't start with us. They came from somewhere. A careless comment, a childhood wound, a relationship that left you questioning your worth. And over time, these stories become beliefs. Beliefs become patterns. And patterns become prison. But I need you to know something. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not your programming. You are the author now, and the pen is in your hands. You get to choose a new chapter. A story where you are not broken, but becoming. A story where mistakes are not shameful, but sacred teachers. A story where your heartache gave birth to strength you never knew you had. Don't keep rereading the same painful sentence over and over. Start a new paragraph. Turn the page. Because the most powerful thing you can ever do is look your past in the eye and say, that may have been my story once, but it's not who I am anymore. We've been conditioned, especially as women, as caretakers, as dreamers, to believe that putting ourselves first is selfish, that our needs are secondary, that love means self-sacrifice. But let me speak this truth into your heart. You are not here to abandon yourself for the comfort of others. Self-love is not selfish. It's essential. It is the oxygen mask on the plane. You can't save anybody else if you're gasping for air. You are allowed to say no without guilt. You are allowed to rest without needing to earn it. You are allowed to walk away from things that hurt, even if others don't understand. Loving yourself means respecting your energy, guarding your peace, listening to that quiet whisper in your soul that says, I matter too. It means showing up for you, not just when it's convenient or easy, but especially when it's hard. And here's the truth. The more you love yourself, the more love you have to give. Because when your own well is full, your love flows not from need, but from overflow. Let's be honest, it can feel scary to shine, to walk into a room fully as yourself, to speak with truth when silence is safer, to claim your brilliance when the world taught you to be humble, quiet, small. But I need you to hear this. You were never meant to play small. You were not designed to shrink, edit, or dilute your greatness just to fit into boxes built by other people's fears. You were meant to stand tall, to radiate, to own your light, fully, boldly, without apology. Your gifts are not too much. Your dreams are not too big. Your story is not too messy. And when you love yourself enough to stop hiding, you become a lighthouse, not just for you, but for others. You give others permission to be real, to heal, to rise. So speak up even if your voice shakes. Show up even if no one claps. Shine even if some walk away, because they were never meant to stay. You don't owe the world a watered-down version of yourself. Be all of you, because the world doesn't need another copy. It needs your light. So I'll leave you with this. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not the voice that says you're unworthy. You are love. You are light. You are a living, breathing miracle. And it is not arrogant to love yourself. It is divine. Stand tall in your truth. Speak softly to yourself. And remember, every time you choose yourself, you teach the world how to love you too. So don't just say it. Live it. Breathe it. Be it. Love yourself. Loudly, boldly, unapologetically. Because the world doesn't need a perfect version of you. It just needs the real you.